Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy, and we are back today with Star Trek Adventures Aegis. Today, we are playing our latest episode, episode 11, A Lion in the Night. And we are back with our crew aboard the Aegis. Just a few quick shout outs. To start us off, first and foremost, if you aren't checking out someone I've mentioned a couple times at this point, or rather a group, there is the Lords and Ladies of Fate, whose links I will mention in the description of the video. But I'm shouting them out in the Twitch chat as well. They've been doing they stream quite a bit of tabletop content, but they in particular have been doing a very fun cookie trek game on Fridays, which is basically a let's break a Star Trek script in an hour and a half for something that would be a lighthearted but fun little procedural sort of thing using the Star Trek Adventures engine. It's a lot of fun. I have used it used as a background thing and occasionally gotten more involved. Definitely recommend it. Also, since they stopped in today, at least for the live broadcast, be sure once again check out the Overland Gamer. He's obviously on Broken Sword if you watch that, and his Overland Gamer podcast is just spot on for tabletop content. But anyway, with all those shout outs, we are just going to get into the game. And we are starting off today with a log from the one, perhaps non-proper member of Starfleet on the crew. Or at least one who doesn't have an official commission as such. Take it away.
Yes. Soral, personal log. 4th A of Talak, 8762. Continue from last entry. Incident Aegis 37. Uncontrolled activation of an unknown Cyrillian device has triggered a ship-wide status of emergency due to the occurrence of uncontrolled and seemingly random holographic constructs. Incident has been resolved without major incidents. I was hoping to take a closer look at Cyrillian technology for a long time. The potential applications of their advanced holographic tech is significant for a wide range of fields. However, I do have to admit that it holds a special interest for the application to Project Terral 003, iteration 374, I believe. Latest iteration is proving stable and promising, growing within expecting parameters. Until further testing can be completed, associated Cyrillian technology is kept in isolation. The ability of Cyrillian technology to draw images directly from the user's mind is intriguing, to say the least. But as events have proven, any future applications should not go beyond surface thought. Perhaps not even thoughts, but impulses of direction and questions. Especially humans seem susceptible to bioelectric or perhaps even psionic connection, judging by the dangerous nature of most of the summoned holographic constructs. The implications for the Cyrillian psyche and general structure of their minds are fascinating, to say the least. Further questions will have to wait until further contact with the Cyrillians can be established. Progress on other projects has been slow to non-existent, partly to my limited time to pursue private projects and familiar obstacles. Full rematerialization of objects involved in Project Chia remains impossible. No current leads to follow. Project Wish still exceeds the available energy. Cyrillian technology may prove tangential leads, further research required. New ideas concerning Project Entanglement, relation to Project Terra, remains questionable. Fragility of biological mind obstruction, or maybe even a necessity, to consider recent events. Calculations for Project Snap continue. I expect more data on biofeedback is required to make the calculations feasible. Dangers of using imprecise data cannot be exaggerated. Recalculating Project Pulse proves necessity of complete restructure of core technology involved. Advancement of adjacent technology expected as well. The overall situations on the Aegis has improved recently due to the better relationship between humans and Tellarites, and also due to the distraction of a survey mission. As we are not really part of the ongoing conflict, this has proven to be something for the crew to deal with. And for me as well, I have to admit. News from Vulcan remain sparse. positive or negative, which I suppose is good news at this point. I do hope that there remains a positive outcome to this conflict, however that may look like. The Andorian base aggression and the Vulcan stance of superiority has led to a continued escalating history that will be difficult to resolve even in the future. On the ship, well, not much news. General, while Shira has shown no hostilities towards me, I will continue to keep my distance out of respect. End log.
We pick up with the Aegis, as partly established in the log, is presently out on some exploratory duty, but I think that before we get to that, there was at least one scene requested at the start, and I think it'd be set early that night. Shira, was this going to be in your quarters, or were you trying to stage a larger viewing?
Quarters.
All right. Well then, we pick up, and there's obviously not many room for chairs, so I think that it's just going to have to be sitting around and watching on the bunk, arrayed on a computer near the set up on a computer. Well, probably the main terminal that you have in your room. Let me just go back and cue that back to where it was. So it's, I'd say, fairly early to mid-evening at this point. Late enough that you are both off shift and have a moment to sit and take some rest. But Shira, you are joined by Commander Romanov. This is a scene for you too, Brian.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And the two of you are sitting about. Sorry, one moment.
Your comm badge is going off.
Yes, my comm badge is going off at an inopportune moment. Okay. So you are sitting about enjoying what, Brian, your impression would be is it is, the animation is roughly the style of what we would think of as a 1980s style cartoon. Uh, there appears to be an Andorian girl and an alien that resembles something between a cat and a hamster with antennae, and they are surrounded by robots with simultaneously blank but also very malicious looking faces, and they are coming in just like they're actually riding what appears to be some sort of cartoonish you're having trouble teasing it out. Just for fluff, and since we'd be starting off fresh here, I'll ask. I can let this be a fluff but momentum earning roll. Let's call it insight and engineering to try and tease out what exactly this cartoon is attempting to portray here. Also, I'm going to start with my base threat for the game.
Insight and engineering, right?
Yep, and we'll just call this difficulty
Wait,
1.
wait. I have reverse engineering. That should apply to this situation. I say it fluff applies.
Absolutely, definitely.
Okay, so I will have a focus. Yes. And I've got 2. And here we go.
Hey.
That is 3 successes on the board, so that will give you 2 momentum. And I'll tell you what, Brian, how would you like to draw the momentum today?
Play momentum officer?
Yeah.
Or if you need me to do it, yes.
Yeah, unless anyone wants to volunteer. No volunteers. It is up to you then, Brian.
Okay, so how many momentum do we have, and
You
how do
will
I manage?
you will get 2 momentum. I'll assign it to you this time, but in the future you should just be able to mouse over it and press the draw button. I'm going to go ahead and give you those first 2. Yep.
Okay.
So,
And I just click on it to spend it?
Yeah, you click on the menu to open it up, and then you basically drag it out from the hand there.
Okay. And just drag it to the desktop?
Basically, or onto the Roll20 screen. Elsewhere, onto the
Okay,
onto
so
the
once
keyboard.
it's open and I see the 2, I drag it onto the screen. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, so, yeah, it's I don't. The plot's kind of revolved around something with an outdoor playground or ice carving. It is a particular point in the school year because the protagonist appears to be somewhere in her early teens, and there has been a whole plot about her and her friends building ice castles, but the robots um, they have been in an effort to disrupt all fun and ensure some level of conformity. These what the translator roughly calls bore bots, that is BORE bots.
They're
Uh,
boring.
yes, they have
Yeah, that's it.
some sort of combination flamethrower, ice masher. Like there's probably a uh, a jackhammer rigged to it. It's like just all the impractical mounts for various ways to destroy these children's ice castle structures that they've been building up. Um,
Got it.
yep.
I thought we resolved the hallucinations. Does this appear
No,
to
no.
be a new?
This is on a this is on basically a computer screen. Eula has rigged her monitor to play what appears to be an old Andorian cartoon. The two of you are presently watching it in her
Oh,
monitor.
she was worried for a minute. I was worried for a minute. I was like,
Fair
they
enough.
drained the Andorian's mind, and then they drained my mind, and this is what they came up with. Not good. Okay, cartoons. In reality, that's all good.
Yep. Yep. There's no holographic cartoon experience, I can assure you.
That's, but the frog was real.
That's
Was
what
it
I
though?
keep telling everyone.
I'm not
I know.
sure I
I
believe
know.
him.
I know. I saw it. She's comforted him on this topic.
Yes. But tonight's more a night for Shira anyway. This is. Craig, how about you give us a little more insight into how things have been going in the evening, in the days and evenings since then? It's probably been a little over, I'd say just under 2 weeks since the last adventure capped off.
I guess she has been quite withdrawn for a lot of it. She's been quite withdrawn for a lot of it. Sorry, my phone was doing something weird.
Not the only one.
uh, and yeah, she's tried to stick to a normal routine of breakfast and workouts and training and that, but the survey side of this is not something which generally keeps a security officer or an armory officer occupied all that much. So yeah, she's been struggling along with her various, just trying to keep herself busy, but probably not entirely succeeding.
Yeah.
God,
Even presuming the captain has had battle drills ongoing, I doubt that's enough to fill all of the time.
Yeah,
Would that be accurate there, Panda?
Yeah, she's not going to completely overwhelm them. But yeah, certainly there has been quite a few battle drills, though at least like 2 or 3 a day at random hours, random intervals.
the ship's dog there.
Yeah,
I keep telling everyone there's a dog too.
yeah, there's a ship dog.
sounds just like Porthos.
Oh,
Anyway, so yeah, Um,
Well, then we're going to enjoy the cartoon then, and Aleska's going to ask her about it because she knows she needs a distraction. So, reminiscing about your childhood and enjoying cartoons and stuff is always good.
Yeah, so this is like my favorite cartoon when I was growing up. Weniel's Dream Adventure. I think that's roughly the translation. So yeah, it's just basically mostly this for about 150 episodes. I don't know how the writers quite kept coming up with different ways the robots can try to
Destroy the kids' ice castles.
destroy the kids' eyes. Just generally stop the kids from having fun. That's what they do every week. And when you always comes out on top, and she gets to learn about the space and stuff, and has to grow up, and kids stories with their messages and that kind of thing. Morals. That's it. So I've been trying to translate these into standard human English, which is a bit of a challenge. So yeah. So all the subtitles added are ones I've added.
Nice work.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying it's probably the first bit of Andorian media to be translated into a human language.
You should share it because that's how people on Earth become more aware of sort of the common areas between Andoria and Earth.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I could send it to the embassy, the Andorian embassy, and see if they want to try to distribute it somehow. I don't know how media works on Earth, to be honest, but I'm sure they'll be able to work out something.
Oh no, Earthlings love media, as you know, movie night.
Oh yeah, yes.
So it's a good way to introduce culture.
Yeah. Eula's quarters are pretty chilly by standards of the ship. I imagine Eula's probably spoke to Aleska fairly early on just to get the temperature as low as possible. Like there was a limit at how cold a room could get, and she just got it to go below that now.
I don't know. Her temperature comfort might be pretty wide. I guess this is a question for the GM. What was the temperatures in the city around Alpha Centauri, where I grew up?
Alpha Centauri was generally because of its distance. It was a little more brisk compared to a good number
That's
of Earth climes. It's probably more like, from what I've seen it described, I think actually it describes it as fairly close to a place like Iceland. So
well. There
fairly
you go.
fairly temperate
You,
summers, colder
yeah.
winters. Though there
You
were
you don't have to. This answers the question. Eula doesn't have to adjust the temperature by that much because she comes from a near Icelandic area to begin with, anyway. She's probably done stuff like ice climbing and things like that,
Oh, good.
and she probably played a little hockey. Tell me if that's the climate they don't have hockey on Alpha Centauri.
well, I'm sure that they have some sort of team active there, but the GM has not gone so far as to work that out. I will confess. I will let you shape the sports that exist on Alpha Centauri as it's your home.
Well, I figure the kids would play ice hockey, given the temperature ranges you have described. So that's what I'll assume is kids play ice hockey. Probably played it at the private school. So.
And a little thermal bag. Well, yeah, in a little thermal bag, there's popcorn, which is still warm.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I needed to make sure there's proper refreshments. She's got half a bottle of Andorian ale too.
Yeah, she's gonna have some popcorn and Andorian ale. That's for damn sure. While watching the kids' cartoon.
Yeah, watching the kids' cartoon. Yeah. Oh, in a little while, there's a song. There's always a 3-minute song in the middle of these. So I've translated that into English, but I've also got the phonetic Andorian here. If you want to sing along, but you might need more alcohol before we start singing.
I'll drink more alcohol before I start. It's not really my thing.
Yep. I'll go ahead.
I failed out of choir in high school.
Just since I imagine you're both hitting the drinks a little harder now. Give me a fitness and medicine difficulty 2 roll, please.
Fitness and medicine difficulty 2.
If anyone gets over, I'll even throw in a bit of momentum with it.
Oh.
Well, I'm just gonna say, Alaska, draw 1 momentum for the pool.
Okay, I'll draw 1 momentum for the pool.
You both got 3 successes.
Roll. Okay.
Oh.
So I put 1 on top of the other one. Oh wait.
Oh, sorry about that. It should
I
somewhere
get
where
it.
I could draw it.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. I draw it. There we go. Draw 1.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Like a pro.
Yay!
Alright.
The frog helped me.
Yep. So as you start going through the ales a little bit faster, you aren't feeling it that much. So it is unlikely that you will reach a drunken state in this time, particularly as Weniel appears to be pulling some. I have to imagine that her pet, her talking animal friend, has taken on some unusual shape that is only by nature of cartoon physics, and has managed to give Weniel something that give her a means to basically soar into something. She also appears to have been drawn in a couple other of her child friends that were at the start, maybe even one who was more of a rival, that they begin constructing ice catapults, I think, and just steadily roll it. They roll over the sides of the boar bots and send them down a hill and out into the open ocean.
That's good. Classic. They eventually learn there's a off switch midway down the back of the ball bots that you have to hit, and that deactivates them. I'm not sure why you would put an off switch on the back of a robot, but there you go.
That's
cartoon logic.
Cartoon logic. It exists on Earth as well.
Oh, good, excellent. Did you have favorite show growing up?
Well, there was this one about these multicolored critters that scared me. Let's see. She would probably bring up Animaniacs and probably some of the Warner Brothers stuff.
Oh, they sound wild.
Yeah, it's very similar to what you are, what this show is like.
I guess kids have a lot in common.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is most of the humanoid species have more in common than they don't, I mean, I'm in a way I'm surprised, in a way I'm not.
Yeah, it's just good to have something which reminds me of better times.
Definitely.
Yeah. I need to get this off my chest. Those hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as if you can forget. They I got off a turbo lift and it just showed me a. I don't want to go into too much detail, but
Go into detail. I'd like.
I want to. It's detail I want to forget. It showed all my it showed all my friends and family dead.
Well, remember, this thing was tapping into our fears as well as things that, we were interested in. So I wouldn't think this alien technology, based on how it operated and it injured somebody, that it wasn't just tapping into those fears. I mean,
Yeah, I know it wasn't real. Well, I mean, but
not easy to watch.
not easy to, and that exact scene might not be real, but it could be real. I don't know. Don't know what's happened to any of them. That's what it's tapping into.
No, I can see how that would come up. I don't think you're seeing anything that's happening now. And my reason for that is there was no prophetic aspect to anybody's hollow vision.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it.
It means it's still real, because even a synthetic experience like that, it impacts our brains as if it's real.
I just haven't heard anything from anyone, and well, okay, that's not true either. I got a message like the night before those hallucinations kicked off.
You're under a lot of stress.
Oh, that's why I'm trying to bury myself in cartoons.
I have something that might be better.
More alcohol?
No.
No, okay.
Vulcan neuropressure. I know from...
She looks very like
Well, consider it. I'll be glad to...
what is it exactly? I'll try to ignore the first word and just say neuropressure. What's that exactly?
Okay. So as part of my sus training, we learned... sometimes when you learn a martial art, you may learn it to heal from it as well, right?
Okay.
So there is a lot of the sort of use of a combination of touches to relieve and send signals to the brain. So you can look this up. It's a very real thing. I do know it. It might help you. I'm throwing it on the table there for you.
So what? So it's what, like a massage or something?
It's more like you can look up an Earth equivalent of acupuncture, but it's done with, yes, it's done with hands, not needles.
Okay.
And by activating certain nerve clusters. Now, I've never done this with an Andorian. I need to double check that would even be safe. But you can activate different neural clusters throughout the body, which give feedback to the brain and can essentially help an individual manage issues.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I suppose that doesn't sound horrible. I mean, we could give that a go.
If you wish, I'll be glad to. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been through a very brutal experience that's not easy to shake off.
It's not ongoing, just ongoing. Yeah, I've I was told that I won't be transferred back. They are so I'm stuck here. I mean, not stuck. I mean, I don't want to sound like I dislike being here on the Aegis. I like being here on the Aegis.
I know. Look, it's the reaction you're getting from your people. They placed you here to do a job, and you've done a really great job of that. But the politics of the moment, somebody is exploiting immediately above you, and it may not reflect the overall will of the Imperial Guard.
Yeah. I suppose you're right. Yeah.
It's unfortunately in times like this, sometimes the people who lead aren't the best people suited to the job. And, you know,
me disagreeing over that.
it seems like some of the Andorian leaders directly above you, they have an agenda. And
Oh yeah, they definitely do.
then you just have to wait that agenda out. You're going to have your chance to plea your case, and I'm pretty sure that they'll restore you. Until then, you remain here. And force of circumstance, in my opinion, is going to force both the Vulcans and the Andorians to change their positions from where they are at now. I don't know when that's going to happen, but there's just too many collective dangers out there. We've seen this stuff.
Yeah.
It is either work together or slowly be cut apart like a piece of meat in a butcher shop.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so something will change. Something will bring peace.
I mean, you may not even really need Vulcan neuropressure. You know, it's just, you know, maybe just somebody to talk to, and I'm glad to be your ears. So
You are my best friend at the minute. So
well, you are one of my best friends. So you know, that's why that's why I'm here, because I know that you've been struggling with this, and I did not know the nature of your vision, but I suspected it was not pleasant.
no, they couldn't have chosen Weniel's dream adventure. It had to be horrific family murder. So
Yeah, that's
that's oh well. So neuropressure did that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a system to release this kind of stuff. I mean, the whole point is that multiple point physical acupuncture releases different different chemicals and endorphin into the body, and that tends to help stress levels and things like that.
I think I'm going to cut in here and just say that as Romanov gets back to trying to explain neuropressure, you hear that familiar tone signifying the musical number is coming on.
Oh, musical number.
Okay.
All right, and you prepare yourselves for the sing-along, which we will cut away from as you maybe slightly more loosened by the alcohol are able to engage with this. Before we actually transition scenes here, I'm going to briefly apologize for possible slight look behind the curtain. I am having difficulty with my computer for some reason. Let's minimize all the tabs here, and
The Wizard of Oz is having trouble.
I am, for whatever reason, everything appears to be it like I minimized everything, and now it all appears to be like just completely blank here, or like the screen is dark. Everything is not a-okay, and I don't know why. This is most troublesome. I don't want it to go that
you're still broadcasting on Twitch just fine. So
Yeah. Just one moment here. I would not want to. Okay. The big thing is I'm trying to get back to Chrome right now, which, obviously is needed for us to shift scenes because that is how I run the Roll20, and absolutely nothing is responding here.
Switch browsers. Try Firefox.
Firefox is what I'm using to record. I have gotten back into Chrome now at this point. But yeah.
just hit it with a hammer until it works.
Oh, the last time I did that, I had to replace laptops. Okay, so there are some slight technical difficulties here that will may wind up impairing some of the function. I'm noticing a few issues with the Roll20 pages as well. So I'm just going to say, everyone, we are going to do our best with how things are working, but if for whatever reason I may have to get just a tad more descriptive at times.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. But anyway, let's cut to the next day. We'll say, first actually, let me ask, did anybody else want any scenes on board, or like elsewhere on the ship that evening, or we content to advance?
I'm good.
Okay, yeah, hearing none, we will cut to the next day. The Aegis is presently at warp, so we'll have that little establishing shot of the Aegis passing by, first with its spherical primary hull for the crew, the small neck and star drive section connected to the warp nacelles behind it, and amidst all of that, a lot of streaking stars passing you by. So, Captain, we are joining you on the bridge. I think that the way the shifts broke out, and so as to allow for optimum cartoon time, Shira had scheduled that on a night where she and probably Romanov did not have the immediate morning shifts, so you just have a different tactical officer on position. But you are joined by other regulars. Crichton, who is probably the hardest one to stitch his sanity back, but he's there. Other familiar faces at helm, and of course, your executive officer, chief science officer, all around just solid guy, Commander Patel, or Lieutenant Commander Patel. I'm sure a promotion will happen at some point.
Oh dear.
Whether you want it or not. Anyway, yeah, you are on gentle cruising right now, just exploring this local region of space. And for the sake of exposition,
I would say that at my seat, I am typing or whatever the equivalent. I never seen any cast member actually type on those pads, outside of like push a button. but she's writing out something. She's writing out the dialogues for the diplomacy simulations with those battle drills and whatnot. Trying to give active, decent responses or reasonable responses, and other cultural things to keep aware of, just to keep the battle drills as realistic and as in every possibility an opportunity to give people more chances and more venues to pull tactics or cool down situations.
Copy that. The Colonel's basically going just from simple war games to, or going from still fairly complex war games onto the full array of like policy simulation.
Yeah.
Yep. So in that case, yes, you're equipped with a pad. You can do it with a stylus if you prefer, or just have something where you are typing in with your finger, whatever you think is more appropriate. Though I think in that era they would still have the. I think it would be optional to have a stylus equipped with it.
Yeah. She probably have a stylus. Sure, why not?
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, you are just proceeding along that, and oh yes, I was going to exposit a little bit. Uh, Connolly will say making minor adjustment on course. Let's see, adjusting course starboard 14 degrees. Declination Z. Well, let's see, setting to Z minus 45. 45,000 kilometers. Yeah.
Understood and received.
I gotta say, it's nice to actually know a bit more about where these Tellarites are now that they, ever since they sent us those maps, well, at least sent us an idea of exactly what they consider their space and ours, and it's even nice that now, because we know about that, we actually have a bit of undefined territory that we can take a look at. I kind of think maybe we should have been the ones to go there. Sorry, it's not a line for me to ask, Captain. Don't you think that Enterprise kind of stole our glory on that one? I mean, we weren't right there, but we were there. We could have come to Tellar Prime with a whole escort of their fleet and all that.
Nah, true enough, and it's always nice to have a bit of limelight, but limelight comes with criticism and critique. I'm sure you don't want all the light to be shined upon you, Connolly. I'm sure there's a few academy hiccups here and there that could be best left not spoken, right? She smiles.
You got a point there, sir. He'll just kind of sheepishly look back at the helm.
Stealing the admiral or vice admiral's personal shuttle, she says.
I didn't even know the service had a vice admiral. And to be fair, I thought that it was one of the trainee shuttle pods.
And the Luna woman with you, she says.
Hey, she just didn't think that I could, that her, she thought her moon shuttles were better suited than what our Starfleet shuttles were. I just had to prove them wrong. Hey, say what you want. I'm at least going about this, like, I am not the Jenkins of my class.
You have to re-up me on the Jenkins. She shakes her head.
Oh, old Janky. Yeah, he kind of he was, I think, I want to say that he was like someone in the 2153 class. Apparently, one night he took a handful of off-planet imports, some of the nastier domestic stuff, and a trainee ship set off from the launch port and apparently hung in orbit for a while. Then, when he was detected, he kicked it up to warp 2, and let's just say they never found the ship.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dark moment for the Academy, a little bit of an embarrassment too, but well.
Well, I can say for certain, Connolly, you're nothing like this Jenkins fellow.
Fair enough.
Leroy Jenkins.
What about you, Patel? Any classmates that you can remember, or college professors that you never want to be associated with? Likeness to?
Not so much classmates or professors, but several students that I would definitely not mind seeing again.
She just looks to you like waiting for your response.
He leaves that one in the air.
Oh dear, and I've just noticed now that I've been able to get back to OBS that there is a complication that has been created by Overland Gamer here. So I will say the pitch of Tribbles in the Mess would have been tempting, except for the fact that the one opportunity they had to pick up Tribbles, Captain Sharp wisely refused. So
I tripled down on refusing that thing. No, thank you.
Yeah. I think that I'm going to say that I've rolled a complication here, and all right, yeah. All of you feel just a very slight trembling in the deck plates, just as this comes up, or just as Patel and Sharp are talking idly.
She pauses and looks at Crichton.
I'm not doing anything, sir.
Status of the ship?
Old stations check in. Old stations check in. Connolly says, Captain, we're losing warp factors here. Ada's moving along at warp 3.1. We're already down warp. We're down to warp 2.6 now. 2.5. Change that and oh man, hold on. I need to correct something. We seem to be off course by. We're developing a 17-degree variance in our course to port.
Patel, what's going on?
Swiver back to in my station and look at my little viewfinder thing.
Okay, give me a reason and science roll. This will be assisted by the ship's sensors and either science or con. Whoever wants to roll for the ship, I will let you make that decision.
I'll roll for the ship. Okay. What's the roll?
Sensors will be the system, and then the department may either be science or con.
There it is. Okay. And that was sensors and con?
Yes, that is a viable choice, unless science is better.
Okay, and it's one dice, right?
A single D20, yes.
And no focus, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, no, it does have a focus. But it doesn't matter anyway.
You can re-roll that, please, because I have technical expertise.
Yes, that does count toward any D20 in the pool. So go right ahead.
Okay, I'm looking for a focus check on this sheet.
The ship might actually automatically have it, so just go ahead and give it a roll. All right. So, let's see. Just getting something Patel, you start running your sensor scans and whisper in the roll 20 there. You begin examining the local region of space, which for the most part is relatively unremarkable. A lot of it is empty space, although there are some fairly dense clusters of like molecular clouds, nothing that has quite taken on a hue or is just far away enough from a light source to take on anything interesting. Some of it is, there's nothing that's quite dense enough to form a nebula out here. This is something of a, from long range it seemed uninteresting just as a, basically there are no stars or planets in this local segment of space, but you are finding other things on your sensors, which are, which I've whispered to you there.
Captain, it looks like there's nothing super interesting going on in normal space right now, but I am detecting some strange phenomena happening in subspace. It looks like we are tacking against some kind of a current running through subspace, sort of like a sailing ship going against the wind.
How off course is the current?
Connolly jumps in here. It'll be hard to say until we get a full map of the region. Right now, it's if without compensating, we could be as much as 15 degrees off course, moving at warp. I'd say that there's probably a good reason that the Tellarites don't try to traverse this region of space here. It's the subspace conditions. I've heard how these can be rough on some distant ships, or there's little bits I picked up from Academy days on this, that with the some of those some subspace conditions are much more conducive to warp travel. I hear that's how the NX-01 made it all the way to Kronos in barely a week. But other parts, you may as well be going at sublight.
Let's play on the safe side. Get us out of warp, Connolly. Let's check on the ship and make sure we don't have any wear and tear.
Aye, sir, pulling us. I'll get ready to pull us out of warp here. And Connolly's going to set about working at the helm.
Patel, see if you can launch a probe before we drop out of warp and see how far this current will lead to and which direction.
Can do. Do I need a roll for launching a probe, or is that just something that we can do?
That is actually something that does not require a task in order to do under normal conditions. And I will rule that as Connolly drops out of warp, you could very easily drop a probe.
I think the thought was to do it while we were still at warp, right? So
Okay.
like it just coasting and we stop, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, I'm putting
Okay.
in the current and see how far it'll go, which direction.
Yeah, that'll do. The probe, obviously it won't stay at warp very long. I don't think there are warp probes in this era that are at least ship launched. Though I suppose
But
we could. Go ahead.
It could just like either the engineer may try to craft one, or at the very least, before it absolutely fails and drops out of warp, it can at least tell us how far it goes and how fast.
I'll just this time I will say that I'll give us a little bit of freedom on this one and say that perhaps you have a slightly larger prototype probe, something that like has to be dropped out of shuttle bay or cargo bay. That is meant to be a sort of warp probe, probably something that you picked up the last time you were on Earth to help with pathfinding and patrol duties. So
Yeah,
we'll make it that much easier on you guys.
fair enough. Good time to try out that experimental warfield probe, Patel.
I'm on it.
Okay.
And then we get a cool little CGI shot of the bay doors opening and this thing dropping out, I guess.
Yep. It's got like little mini warp struts, and as it goes out, it's it's like an even smaller version of the Phoenix, or if you remember that one Voyager episode in season 7 where Friendship 1 gets found. I imagine it's something like that, just very slightly scaled down. So it's like maybe a Warp 1 probe or something like that. And it begins to, after a few minutes, it begins spitting off just a few readings. There's one atypical reading that it helps to verify as it moves a ways off course ahead of you, Patel.
So, detecting this on the ship's sensors, but the probe is also verifying. I'm also detecting some kind of a metallic object. Looks like a ship of some type, but I can't tell at this distance. About 0.2 light years off of our course.
Any IFF or profile that we can tell?
Creighton will jump in on that. No, sir. I'm afraid that whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be broadcasting. Patel, for your part, you would see that there's scarcely a power emission of any kind with it. Like, it's barely registering anything below, like, cosmic background radiation.
But it definitely looks like it's artificial, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever it is, it's looks to be dead in the water or very close to it.
All right. Connolly, get us out of warp. She switches over to engineering. Cabin to engineering.
Engineering here.
Make a quick check of status of the ship. Just to make sure there's any wear and tear, and then I would need up to warp 3 again soon enough.
Level 5 diagnostics are already en route. I'll be sure to notify Lieutenant Commander Romanov. But so far, I'm getting greens across the board. Just, I guess the engine doesn't like things too much here. But she's good and sturdy, Cap.
All right, warp 3 then, please. She clicks off engineering and looks at Connolly and just nods. Direction of the signal, Connolly.
I'll try, Captain. But even if I get the angle right as far as the current goes, subspace conditions might not give us the full escape capability, or might still be a little slow.
Understood.
And
just
so
take it as easy as you can. Don't push it too hard.
So Connolly will kick the warp drive up, and there will be a few bumps here and there. Warp is actually going to fluctuate a little between, I'm going to say, like 2.8 and 3, but Connolly will try to find a way to keep it steady, make slight warp adjustments until you close distance with the object. Anything else you'd want to do here, Captain, as you get close to the ship?
Just for safety concerns, we are going to drop out at extreme range. Send another probe, an actual active probe, in that direction, and see what the hell it is. But I want to be far enough away where we don't get into a knife fight with it.
Okay.
If it's bad.
Copy that. So.
I will also set up to condition yellow.
All right. As the alert condition signal goes off, let's see. That will for your parts, Romanov, Shira, you were probably already at least up and about some daily routines, but this will probably call you to your respective shifts.
Yeah, I'm racing for engineering. We're on alert.
Yep. Yeah. Soral, meanwhile, I don't think this engages you to a particular station. Though if you want to be involved in some way, then I'll invite you to at least say if you have any thoughts on the matter or anything you would think to do right now.
I mean, if no one has called him, since he's not a bridge resident, so to speak, I think. He's in his lab, probably making use of finally some private time
Yes, yes.
for more work.
Fair enough. All right. So, with
Just imagining he just activated just some inconsequential piece of machinery and the ship shuddered and he's just like, no.
It's like the Dr. Bees returns, everyone else dies. This time. This is worse. Anyway. Yeah, so the level will come out, level Aegis. Thinking of the other Daedalus class vessel. My
You got a
favorite.
few of them.
Yep. My
You do love your little Christmas ball.
the Daedalus is just my favorite ugly ship here. But yeah, the Aegis will come out of warp at extreme range relative to the freighter craft, which you can see in the distance. It's much bigger up close, of course. I'll make it smaller on the screen here. So they're out like well over 1,000,000 kilometers, so as to keep a healthy distance. And yeah, there we go. That's now that should be visible again. All right. So, yeah, with that, Patel, you're able to effortlessly deploy an additional sensor probe that proceeds at sublight to close with the vessel, and because of that, you may conduct a reason and science roll at decreased difficulty to reflect the probe is operating here. I think that let's see, were you just conducting a simple scan to identify the type and type and class or like origin of it? Were you going like
Type,
full
class,
comprehensive?
origin. I want as much detail as I can
Yep.
out of this damn thing.
Yep. All right. Let's see. So, Patel, that is 2 successes there. The ship sensors and science may assist you. Okay.
Gonna reroll that.
Very good.
Ooh, should not have rerolled that.
Oh, that is a
All right,
natural 20
let's-
there on the board. So, Patel, you do have while you have rolled that complication there, you have the option to either um, take a you can take a narrative complication, you can buy it off with momentum, or you can give the GM threat. What is to your preference?
Is your threat count accurate?
My threat count is currently accurate, yes.
I would say let's buy it off with momentum.
Okay, 2 momentum will go to that. So Brian, if you just drag and then delete the momentum, you'll like click on your 3 momentum there to open it up and then drag them out individually.
How much is being spent again?
2 momentum are being.
Okay.
Very good. Patel, I'll say for everyone's purposes, the sensor information is being like relayed on the view screen next to the freighter. It is very clearly of that class. As a matter of fact, the specifics and markings on the hull do actually conform to a Tellarite operated ship. It is a fairly generic class that is in use by multiple species, but that the Tellarites in particular have operated this one. It is presently, it seems to be unpowered, operating in a in a counterclockwise spin. It appears as though there are some pockmarks and like segments of the hull that have been replaced or like boarded up. I would say that you are getting very faint energy signatures and even a bit of a transmission as the probe gets closer. Let me look through other notes at that difficulty here. Yeah, I would say you can estimate they are probably whatever the ship's running off of must be something like an emergency reserve. Um, but it does seem like what signs you are getting is it's a little bit difficult to tell, but it does appear there is life support on the ship as well. Life signs are not available, however, or rather you can't read that due to some sort of interference from the ship. It doesn't read like anything like the say a high energy signature like what you had when there were chemosite freighters, or the chemosite freighter some ways back. Um, this is it's hard to discern exactly what is responsible. But let's see. Crichton is going to also jump in here. Uh, he'll squint a little bit, or like he'll kind of cringe for a moment. Sorry, sir, bit of a squeak with some of this. It sounds as though, yes, the Tellarite freighter, the Machda, they appear to have suffered critical engine failure and have lost control of their ship for the moment. They're requesting assistance, Captain.
What is our surroundings? Out of character. Actually, no. I said, Patel, is there any interstellar bushes or the like about gaseous anomalies or anything that could be opportunely used?
I think it was still pretty much just like open space, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of so your initial scans kind of gave you a sense that there are some unusual bits of subspace that are at work. Or like those are that are at least creating some navigational hazards. There's also basically there's some denser hydrogen clouds and other like smaller molecular clouds of sorts. Um, I should say they are large and concentrated enough to where there's kind of uh, they are a bit of a shade, I suppose you could say, but they aren't giving off serious radiation or anything of the sort. It's nothing that can quite assume to that level of interference. It does create they're minor blind spots basically.
And the profile and the power signatures. Oh no, because they're on the emergency. Do we have the database in terms of Tellarite ships, like profiles and what they should be power signature wise and otherwise match? You know what I'm saying?
I think I gather what you're saying. Like
Sorry.
the energy signature such that the Tellarite ship has one. It doesn't suggest that This doesn't suggest anyone else is operating this freighter, or there's nothing unusual about that which you could glean from
Right.
your sensor scan. It is very low, which suggests that they have probably had engine problems and are stranded.
All right.
Crichton,
Crichton, go ahead.
Crichton's going to squint again a little bit, or like kind of shudder. Sorry, another bit of a squeak. I think that, Captain, I think that the distress call is automated at this point. It appears to be on a repeating loop.
Understood. Crichton, switch over to condition red, general quarters, and Conley, give a very careful approach.
Aye, sir. Bringing us in. I take it we're not going in alongside.
Not until we're absolutely sure that this is what it is.
Alright. Well, so after lights change, Shira, I will say you are on the bridge now. Romanov, you are in engineering, manning your places, and I'm going to take those point redeems. I've already been hydrating, but I'm going to stretch. Ah, much better. Thank you. So yeah. Shira, you man your console on the bridge, seeing the freighter that you are closing the distance with, however slowly, and some tactical information that's up.
So Shira's back.
Yes.
Yes.
Shira, any signals? Life signs?
Okay. I'll look at
Yeah.
the sensor readout.
Yeah. You aren't making anything out. There's some sort of low-level interference, possibly like you can't discern whether it's something with ship damage, something about the hull plating itself that's weird, or possibly a radiation leak or something like that. But there's just enough interference that the probe and the Aegis are not able to tease out whether anyone is still alive on this ship. Granted, if they are, they probably wouldn't have much time left. Not like as in, matter of minutes you need to go now, but chances are conditions are pretty bad for whoever would still be alive there.
Too much interference to ascertain any information. Blocking all our sensors.
Zach, as a former pirate hunter and pirate, which is quite the interesting career, and my own other knowledges, any about this like just wigging me out a little bit?
I feel like, I mean,
I know
with your
it's ultimately up
experience,
to me, but I'm asking because like, since I'm not a pirate hunter or a pirate, or given what Sharp is,
yeah. Would you want to maybe spend a point of momentum to obtain the little bit of information and think about it a little more?
yeah, I'll spend a point of
Run this by
information.
your previous experiences.
Yeah, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Spending the
momentum
last
spent.
one.
Yeah.
Spending one momentum, right?
Yep.
Okay. Puppy is gone.
Okay. So, Sharp, obviously, the distressed, a ship in distress is an obvious ploy. Virtually every ship, it's kind of like law of space that you go and help a ship that's been in distress. That's honestly, it's like one of the few commonalities between virtually everyone as a starfaring civilization. Nobody leaves anyone alone out there, and it's not always pleasant what happens to someone that finds them, but it can be pretty rough. That being said, the era is such to where a freighter might be able to relay that information to a slightly faster and more capable ship. And warships, a lot of warships of the era tend to have a bit more. There's something closer to parity with a lot of the pirate vessels, like a Nausicaan vessel or an Orion ship of the era. They have numbers and they have significantly more organization, but yeah.
It could also
So
be a Q ship.
it could be. The areas in which this doesn't make sense is that somebody decided to put a very damaged ship in the midst of what is clearly a navigational thicket that, or like just a navigational area that no one would really want to do. If you want to draw in something lucrative, you put something like this off course in a major trade route or something of the sort.
Right.
This is obviously not the case. And here and the ship is showing considerable signs of damage, which could have been left by raiders, but it's not, from what you're gathering, it's not entirely inconsistent with some sort of possible catastrophic system, given how, or like system failure, given how close you are to Tellarite space. It is possible that this was a freighter crew that just drew a very short straw from fate and was knocked so far off course, well outside their own trade lanes, and into a place where no Tellarite ship would think to find them. And indeed, no one else if you weren't out exploring yourselves.
Also, I typed something into your personal, or in our personal chat, just to be on the safe side.
Copy that. So let's see. I see.
Okay. All right. I'm not likely that's going to happen, but might as well try. Crichton, could you send a broadband hail, letting him know that we are here to assist? Shira Patel, be sure to grab the doctor and a few Makos. And let's see if we can provide any means of help to these people. But let's be on the safe side.
If the ship is damaged, should we bring an engineering team?
Agreed. Grab Romanov when you can.
Okay, stand up from my station and grab my little portable science kit.
I'm going to grab any data on the scans, anything that matches anything in databases about this model. Is this a known model of Starship that's been scanned by the USAP before?
So Starfleet has encountered this particular type of freighter before, and a Tellarite one, in particular, it was the one that you encountered. There was a Tellarite freighter that had been stolen by some Orion pirates just a few sessions back. This is the same type, but without the same dangerous cargo.
So we get to reuse the same set design, and it saves a bit of money for the show for later.
Now
We want to do that. Got everything for that season finale, man.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we got to get to that clip show eventually, where we just reflect on all the previous seasons for like 6 sessions.
To be fair, the clip show is kind of the. It'll be what we do after the finale, where we have the chat about how everyone thought the first session went, or the first season. We are nearing the end of season 1.
Yeah. All right. Shira Patel, the moment you sense any danger, get out of there. Back to the ship.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as
And radiation clothing for everybody, because there was already radiation detected there, right?
There was radiation detected. That would probably mean EV suits for everyone.
I'll suggest EVs for the away team.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. We are about to have everyone go on an away mission here. Who wants to send whom aboard the ship? I think that
Do we want to have Sorrel or Deshawn?
You know what? Sorrel can go too. Why not? We need two science officers.
Oh, beans.
Actually, I'm thinking about it. Drone, do you want Justice there or do you want Patel there?
I'd probably rather have Patel there,
Okay.
but I mean, Justice is a shuttle pilot, so why not both?
I mean, it's up to you.
Somebody else can play Justice if they want. I would love to see somebody else give that a shot.
well, with that sanction, I think that so
I'll grab Justice then.
yep,
Oh, this is gonna be good.
yeah, spectacular. All right, so the five, or rather the five of you plus we can say that Dr. Lambeth is along and will temporarily be an NPC coming along on the shuttle pod. You take some time to file in on EV suits. I'll say that with what insights you have, it looks as though there is a docking port on this freighter. There are two of them actually that would conform to the shuttle pod. One is on the ventral side, and the other is on the dorsal side. The ventral side is not optimal for use right now, as there appears to be like considerable radiation signatures on the coming from the lower deck.
You're in charge, Patel.
He's still trying to figure out his suit. Oh, this is the first time I've been in one of these since Officer Candidate School.
That bit connects to this, and then you press the button, and it seals.
I imagine he's trying to put the wrong glove on the wrong hand.
Yeah, that's your thumb's the other way round.
Oh, right. It's just like a pair of mittens.
Commander, I think that you grabbed two left gloves.
Narth, what are you doing here? No, I'm kidding.
My Lambeth impression is so bad it gets mistaken as North. Either that or I've assimilated him.
Into the Narth Collective.
Resistance is futile.
Once I get my suit squared away, then let's make for the dorsal entry. If you said it was the ventral one that's radiated, right?
Yep.
See if we can bring us alongside. See if we're able to use the universal dock.
Can do.
Alright. So I won't force a Chief Justice role here. You can take what time you need in order to bring your shuttle pod alongside. And
Willie D Justice. I actually don't have Willie D as a character option for me. Like I can see him, but
allow me to fix that. It might have been something where I only set access for drone,
yeah,
which can be very readily amended. Willie D Justice.
I still think his character sheet's kind of messed up somehow, but I can't quite figure out how.
Oh, damn, I might have forgotten it. I fixed all the main characters, but I have not repaired his... I may not have finished re-upping everything from the others, so... well, no, his sheet has all of the talents and everything that he previously had. That being said, this is an activation, so you may give him something new if you would like. I believe he can take a talent, a value, or a focus.
I'll leave that up to the person presently controlling him.
Yep. Let's up his attribute value or focus. Okay. Let's increase his. Let's give him a. Sure. Let's give him a value. Rather a focus. I'll give him a focus. Ignore me. Just doing my shit.
Mhm. Okay. Let me get us set to move this away team to deck 1 here. Because you say we reused money from the set, and then the GM spent a bit of time making a map and... wait, what? Oh. Well, the GM spent time making a map, and a good bit of the assets are not loading in, so this could look quite terrible.
Oh man, that happens where you're like, you're like, okay, I have screen time for this. Let's shoot it, and they're like, oh, sorry, we're busy in that studio at the current moment.
Yeah,
well, we already planned it.
I mean, part of the issue is that, like, outside of what I've got, I don't know, my computer didn't like something I did setting this up, and now I'm having to juggle through the screens in a very different way than I usually have to. It's not happy times on the good stream Star Trek Adventures Aegis, specifically as far as my computer is concerned, and I haven't figured out why yet, but we'll get that worked on. So I'll at least I'll put you in there so that I can give you a general sense of what the ship is like. Anyway, so the shuttle pod latches onto a hatch. It turns upside down for their universal dock to properly lock onto the hatch. And Romanov, as you were the first through to get to the breaching door. Saral, you could be up there as well. It's a pretty straightforward design in order to enter the vessel. And,
Can I do a scan on what's on the other side of this door?
I'll allow you to attempt a reason and science roll. This will be a difficulty of... I think I'm going to set it to a 3 for your hand scanner.
Well, if it's science, I'll pass it off to Mr. Patel. Mr. Patel, could you run a scan on what's on the other side of that door?
Yeah, I'll whip up my hand scanner and wave it across the door. You said difficulty 3?
It is.
And we don't have any momentum.
We don't. That's why you are pretty much our only hope.
I could assist.
Saral could assist. You could also give the GM threat.
GM's always willing to take threat. I see a pattern here.
Ooh. Well.
Ouch. That's a no then.
And I can't re-roll anything.
Okay.
Nope, can't penetrate the door.
Yep. Well, in we go, the doctor says, and
in we go.
Yep. So, map transfer time. And
stairs going up and down.
Oh, you are... Oh, actually, there shouldn't be upper stairs on this one. That, properly, is a GM goof.
Stairs just going down?
Yep, let me...
They're just there for aesthetics.
Hold on,
That's where they store the spare stairs.
Mm-hmm,
You can just move them into place if they're needed.
What?
They're from another set.
You could say this is a nice stair ship.
Oh, I see
It's
what it
there
is.
for exercise purposes.
Oh, just
Justice just explodes. the
They're-
ship.
They're the stairs that come down from the hatch. That's why they're there.
yeah.
Okay, and now you should be visible. Oh, what did I do?
Hey, there we are.
So you find yourselves in a corridor. It appears to be quite dark, running from stem to stern of the ship. The corridors are slightly wider than what you would. The corridors are slightly wider than what you would like experience on the Aegis. Um, At least they don't have the same enclosed submarine-like feeling, but it's it is a fairly Spartan-seeming upper deck.
Can I get an atmosphere reading? See if it's breathable?
Yep, I will allow you to either take that for free, or if you want an easy roll, then I will allow you the chance for that. What would you prefer?
I would prefer to take that for free after I rolled. No,
Oh dear, oh dear.
the dice are not in my favor today.
Ugh.
Dice are not with you.
The GM is considering being magnanimous in this case and allowing you the.
Can I spend 5,000 quatlus?
That is
On
a
the incoming,
that is a way to buy it off, I suppose. Let's see here. Sorry, just trying to get where does OBS go? I'm so sorry that
17.
everything's a little
Can
bit.
Can I spend 4,000 quatlus to get 2 momentum for the party?
Technically, you are in the session right now, but if anyone in our chat has the quatlus to redeem it, I'll tell you what, Patel, I will give you it. You know, I gotta hold fast here. You did roll, so narrative or threat.
Narrative, please.
Okay. Well, your sensor readings tell you there is atmosphere on this deck. However, there does appear to be a fairly thin amount of it. You don't know why, but it seems that O2 levels are dropping in this section specifically, and because you scored no successes, there's I don't think that you could get much of an indicator, but it does suggest that if you come through this section again trying to get to the shuttle pod, you will probably need to be in your EV suit.
Oh, we are right now, right?
You are presently. You don't need them presently, strictly speaking, because the air does appear to be breathable and still a sufficient level, but it is decreasing.
Click on my helmet radio. The atmosphere is partially breathable, but I would not recommend anybody take off their helmet. All right. Fan out. He asks and looks to Shira. He's unfamiliar with protocol like this.
Okay, I guess we want to find our way to the bridge then.
based on the design, do I have an idea of where that is?
Most people, or well, rather, most species do tend to build the bridge near the front of the ship. Unfortunately, this is one of the things that apparently didn't transfer over, so I'm going to have to do the very sparest of things to add to it very quickly. And even then, it won't do it full justice for what I was planning to do, but such is life.
That's okay. We have full justice here, so you know.
Please, full justice is his father.
Yeah, come on.
Sorry.
He's affectionately called a bit of justice.
Well, and I'm sure that they all have a rollicking good time, especially when they get to meet with the Grand Patriarch of the family, Supreme Justice.
That's right.
So, anyway, yeah, it would tell you it is near the bow of the ship in all likelihood. So that would be north relative to what you are seeing. Forward should be considered higher in the ship, and aft should be considered lower. Or aft, aft should be considered the lower end of the screen.
Okay, let's head forward then.
So
Let's go.
Shira,
I'll be cautious and peer around the corners just in case there's anything.
Are you
Unusual.
armed? Like, are you holding out your phaser or anything, or just being cautious?
It's holstered for now.
Yep, that is a question. Coming over here, obviously the standard equipment would be phase pistols, tricorders, plus the doctor's medical gear, a repair kit for Romanov. But did you want to pay the escalation cost necessary to bring in something heavier than your phase pistol?
I'm fine with the phase pistol right now. And always
How much of a raise of how much of an escalation would it be to bring all of Chief Justice's coolness into this?
that surely is just free.
I don't know, it's a lot.
Oh,
Maybe
Chief
too much.
Justice brings it all the time, but he does so without effort. All right. Well, I recognize I will have to move Dr. Lambeth's tokens, but the rest of you should be free to click and drag at your leisure. If you do not, then tell me. And I will work brain surgery on your character's tokens.
Someone just take a picture?
Did Chief Justice bring a camera?
Yep.
Yes.
Souvenir photos. He takes
Yep.
one every time he goes onto a new ship.
He even selfies with them.
I imagine he does the pose like that's where his personnel photo came from.
Yep.
That was me, guys. Sorry. I was taking something on my desktop while we were...
All good. Sorrel does not want to move for some reason. Yeah.
No one controls me.
There you go.
Sorrel is unmoving, unwavering.
No.
Literally
So-
stuck to the deck plate.
You steadily advance up the corridor of the ship near the bow section. As you make your way along, there are signs of conduits clearly out of place, like bits of rebar that have come down, probably a few wall panels missing, signs of burned out conduits and whatnot. Lambeth will glance along and say, seems like this place is in a bit of a state of disrepair. I hope their doctors aren't as bad as their engineers are, apparently.
Definitely seen better days.
Seems like the last one I was in.
What kind of picture is this is this painting? Like accident in space, fight of some sort, derelict.
The damage at this point could suggest any of the above. If there were combat here, then it hasn't been anything terribly recent that you can discern. Anyway, you find your way up to what appears to be a locked door that would be right about where the bridge section is. Or at least it is a sealed door.
Okay. Can we see how it's been sealed? Has it been locked down, or?
It appears it would operate based on a based on a computer console. However, Romanov, you're you will. I mean, all of you would notice this right away, but they'll definitely see the door controls appear to have been completely broken.
Broken by what? Force or interior or exterior?
Give
I'm
me
pretty
insight and engineering.
I want to know if this damage was interior or exterior. Give me a moment to scan. Insight, engineering, and does reverse engineering apply?
Mm-hmm.
Can I assist if the thing's been damaged? Can I use my security to determine how it might have been damaged?
I will allow that.
I also have electroplasma power systems, so I would say that's the better application because I'm looking at damage caused possibly by power systems within the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That would work.
Okay, I'm going to roll now then.
All right. That is 3 successes between the two of you. And let's see. I believe I said it was a difficulty 2 roll, so that will earn you back a point of momentum.
We have momentum again. Yay.
Yep. Romanov, as near as you can tell, this door console seems to have been hit by some sort of blunt object or bludgeon.
Not the result of torquing and forces caused by problems with engine systems or normal damage to a starship?
I mean, there are signs of some scoring which might suggest that there's other residual burning around it, but this console in particular appears to have been just completely smashed up by something.
I'll just share that with everybody. This console was completely smashed up. It may not have been the result of internal forces from an engineering disaster. This could be something.
Someone deliberately broke the controls then.
That is a distinct possibility.
Okay, that's unusual. Do you think there's a manual override to the door?
Look for a manual override.
Sure enough, in the panel below, you locate a manual override. The panel itself appears to have been loose, as if it had already been used at some point.
This manual override's been used. I'll go ahead and activate it again.
Let's just be careful. If this section is losing air pressure and that section's been sealed, then there might be some decompression.
Let's check for that. Mr. Patel, could you try to scan on... Can I see from engineering whether there's pressure on the other side of the door? Just from readouts?
I'll give you for free that what your scanners are able to make out suggests that while there's a slight pressure difference between the rooms, it is not so significant as to create any sort of explosive decompression.
Okay, I'll share that with everybody.
Okay. We'll probably just get a nice little breeze or something. Okay.
And I think as I'm walking along, I've got my tricorder open, so I would have seen that.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm getting ready to open.
Let me also make a little more of this visible for you. All right. And
And I will open it.
Okay. I'll say that since I'll make this an easy thing for you and just allow the door to be opened here. And I do feel like I have to apologize because technical issues that I am having, some media in particular is not loading up. And the result is that I have a much more sparse type of setup of like broken sort of things about the ships, or rather, I have plugged in what I could in order to make at least provide some small semblance of that. Um, but let's see. As the doorway opens, you manage to force the doors apart. It goes right down the middle, as with a great many ships, and with the pumping of the manual release, it opens up to just an absolutely disheveled mess of a bridge. Every station seems to be like all of the stations appear to be just catastrophically damaged in various ways. It seems as though it would appear as though the ship had, like every console in this section was just completely trashed, and um, any chairs that were in place are askance and unfortunately not depicted. You know, bits of like the support pillars and like other bits of structure. The rocks that are in every ship are dumped all about the ground. Um, the bridge just shows signs of considerable damage. The view screen is even like gone and patched up at this point. There are no signs of anyone on the bridge whatsoever. That is one thing that is very clearly missing. Not a sign of any individual, living or dead. Not like a smear of any sort of fluid you would associate with something organic. It is just an empty, broken ship.
No, I've seen people hate their cargo ships or even just hate working on a cargo ship, but this is something extra.
This
Yeah.
is something extra.
It is possible that the crew abandoned ship. But why
I
would
guess
they have locked the door?
Does this damage look identical to the type of damage that I witnessed on the door? Like the same type of percussive blows?
Going off the success of the roll you had earlier, I will allow you to say a few consoles maybe look like they've been intentionally physically damaged that way. Others do appear to show signs of having just blown out, probably from an EPS spike or possibly wreckage from something that, like, basically secondary effects after shrapnel sprayed a part of the bridge. It's kind of a hodgepodge to create the damaged aesthetic.
Romanov, is there any way of salvaging something from one of these consoles? Do any of them look like they're in any condition to be repaired in a basic way?
GM. She will head in and take a look.
You just push the one console that looks like it is remotely intact. The glass layering on it just completely shatters and gives way to like fried components underneath. That was the best looking one.
No. Not really. As she looks at the mess that she just made.
Well, doesn't seem there's anything here for us then. Engineering?
If we want to check if if people abandoned ship, I guess we could just simply count the life pods. They're
Are
all
there
accounted for. Then
are
we
there
know
any,
they didn't use those.
is there any emergency interface where I could check life pod count and all that?
Any sort of interface on in this section of the ship seems to be completely destroyed or broken.
Is it possible to plug in directly into the computer?
The main computer might be an option, although any taps in here seem to be completely fried.
It's not a LAN cable port somewhere we can stick an RJ45 in?
I'm holding up like the tricorder to get a better Wi-Fi signal somewhere.
Pairing with the Bluetooth?
All Bluetooth and Wi-Fi functions have been disabled as the ship is both heavily damaged and under too little power to activate it.
So maybe we just go directly to the computer core.
That would be the place.
Well, you head to engineering. Patel and I can head to the computer core.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like the ship's abandoned. I don't see a problem splitting up.
Okay.
Saral, you and myself and Chief Justice head to the computer core, and everybody else make their way to engineering.
Okay.
Works for me.
All right, I'm okay with this. I'll kind of no offense, Chief. I do kind of like my chances a little better with the Andorian Space Marine on board.
I already know that I won't be hit because just no one's hit this sort of face.
Right. Okay. So
Plus, Romanov knows how to shoot too.
I'm not bad.
yeah, then that's
And good in hand-to-hand combat.
yeah. I much prefer that the last time I was there. The last time I thought about hitting something is that damned Vulcan inspector. Last time I almost got shot at. Shira was there to draw the fire for me, or better yet, stun them before it became an issue.
It's all stun. Okay, let's get going.
All right. So,
Split the party! Yay!
Yeah. The six of you begin working your way back to the gangways, basically, near the center of the ship where the hatches were. I'll take the liberty of attempting to move everyone there. Ah, that's why. Okay. So the remainder move back into position, and you split up amongst your separate groups. So that would be Romanov, Shira, and Lambeth to one side, Patel, Saral, and Chief Justice to the other. And you will proceed down the respective gangways towards the deck. So one of you will, or like the group on the right, will take the starboard ladder down. The group on the left will take the port ladder down.